good morning, guys. Good morning. Okay, so some of the things I wanted to talk about was breastfeeding, pumping, and some tips and tricks that I learned with my journey as a new mom that I wish I would have kind of, like, I did my research, but everyone has their own kind of different experiences. Well, this is just kind of mine and what I learned a lot of moms didn't know. Biggest question of are you wanting to breastfeed or you want to formula feed? Fed is best. But when I was pregnant, I was kind of looking into all these kind of different strategies of breastfeeding and there's different ways you can hold them. Well, they don't tell you about setting a goal. Okay, a lot of the times I feel like people who was like, oh, I think I want to breastfeed, but I might just go to formula because it might be easier. I don't know how, because I think it's easier just whip out a bit and just feed them.
You're just being so good, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Beforehand, I wanted to make a list, kind of my idea of what I wanted. So I decided I wanted to breastfeed no matter what. The way you're going to fail for breastfeeding, like the biggest problem that I've come to find out is having that dedication to want to breastfeed. Like they don't have a goal. So my goal personally was at least 6 months. Number one is you have to have a goal. Number two, so the second thing I learned to be successful in breastfeeding is you have to eat enough. Not a diet, you know, like those like lactation bars, the tea bags. You have to have like 3 to 5 cups a day to even for it to work, I guess. I don't know. That never. I did try the tea because I love tea. I gave it a try, but that's only like once a day, maybe every 3 days. If you aren't getting that calorie consumption, you will literally be shaking. You or at least me personally, like I started shaking, felt really dizzy, really lightheaded, and when you're holding a newborn, like that's very dangerous. So I did my own kind of research for me. So like there's like, I didn't know there's so many different foods or even like the essential oils. Like I'm big for the oils. I didn't know you can't use, especially when you're breastfeeding, or that can be poisonous to newborns. It can significantly drop your milk supply. Or certain foods can drop your milk supply, like peppermint essential oil, especially, or peppermint tea, anything with peppermint in it. Certain oils like that I can use around Jace, and that would be safe for both me and him. Now I have completely ruled out like candles. Those are poisonous too. Smoking definitely decreases milk supply. Now I was one of the few, and I know it's so hard to quit. I was able to quit. It made me so sick to my stomach. Like I didn't have morning sickness. I had nausea from the smell of. If you do get the chance, you should take it. Even if you could just wait a little bit longer till after your breastfeeding goal, like that would be amazing. I've been seeing posts pop up on Facebook alone of newborns, or not just newborns, like babies, up to toddlers, having black spots in their lungs from secondhand smoke. Like just from it being on people's clothing. Are you telling them? Yeah, you tell them. So you don't do it. Caffeine. They do say that caffeine lowers your milk supply. I never had a problem. All through my pregnancy, I drank. I limited it because I like having more than 1 coffee or 1 cup of coffee. I did half cap. Folgers has it. They only have like smaller containers, so it kind of was like you spend more because you only get so much. Now, when he was born, I continued to drink coffee, except I went back to I went back to full strength. Okay, I needed it, especially while he was at the NICU. So, just be careful with the caffeine. Only a little bit goes into the breast milk. Sometimes just too much will cause them to get irritated or really constipated. Okay, pumping. Okay, it is essential if you want a good supply. Or he was in the NICU for 3 weeks. Okay, so for 3 weeks I pumped every day, every 2 hours. Even if it was just a little bit at a time, it added up. Because like I said, my goal was 6 months, and I was not going to let them tell me that I ran out of breast milk, and they had to give him formula. Like, I was not going to let anyone tell me otherwise. Like, I knew I had it set in my head that I wanted him to have only breast milk. With it. Okay, so I pumped every 2 hours. I eventually started pumping 4 ounces out of each boob by the time he was out of the NICU. That's 8 ounces of feeding every 2 hours. And then I was at night going, I was maxing at 6 hours before I'd wake up drenched. Okay, they don't tell you about that. They don't tell you how you wake up soaked in your bed. Okay, I slept on towels for about 2 months. If you aren't pumping, will start regulating. Okay, so what I mean by regulating, like your body will only start producing how much your baby's actually eating. So even though I was pumping 8 ounces every 2 hours, he was not eating even close to that amount. So that meant more supply in my freezer, or more supply that they were able to keep up there at the knee. Comfort pumping I would do after almost each feeding. I would do it after each feeding during the day. That became my goal, instead of just doing it instead of all the time, because it's really exhausting, especially when you're trying to keep up or try and catch up on as much sleep as you can. And we found it works wonders in getting your body to produce more. I did. One of the nurses, while I was actually in the hospital, she suggested this as a nipple shield. Okay, not many people have actually heard of this. And I don't know why it's not marketed more, because it is a freaking lifesaver. Like one of the complaints I've heard from breastfeeding is people saying, it hurts, like my nipples are cracked, I have to keep putting gel on it, or I keep having to ice it. I've not had that problem once. It's like a little flexible rubber thing. Okay, it's clear, it's got a tip on it. Okay, so it's kind of like the nipple of a bottle. So with these, they're like a freaking lifesaver. So they protect your nipple. Like, they just go on. You just wanted like a break. Like, this is shaped like a bottle. So when he was using the bottles up at the NICU, or if his dad wanted to feed him, there would be no problem. If you go to your local WIC office, they can provide you a lactation consultant for free. If there's any kind of tips or tricks that you feel like worked for you when you had your first baby, or maybe it's your second baby and you bottle fed the whole time with your... Feel free to share with me any tips or tricks that you felt like worked for you. This is going to be your new life. Anytime you're on the phone or anywhere, just your new life. Okay, just feel free to leave it in the comments below. Email me with any suggestions or questions you may have, or would want more elaborated on. Also, if you leave below in the comments any more video suggestions, I will make a video as soon as I can. Bye. Bye.